Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Thanks for being here with us tonight. I'm going to start out the evening talking with Nicholas Von Pless. Nicholas has been on the show maybe 3 years back with an organization called Employment Solutions, and you are still with them, still doing good work, Nicholas. Thanks for being on here tonight.
Thanks for having me, Monica.
It's my pleasure. Now, you are the Employment and Marketing Coordinator. Is that the job you've had the whole time you've been there?
No, I started as an employment specialist, and in July, this was a job that was created in order to allow more opportunities to be in the community and meet with employers that are interested in signing on to our mission.
Great. Well, then that was a great segue. Tell me a little bit about your mission. Why was Employment Solutions created, and what is it you do?
Employment Solutions was created as a subsidiary of United Cerebral Palsy of Oregon and Southwest Washington, and our department, our mission is designed to empower people with developmental disabilities to live fuller, more independent lives by having community-based competitive jobs in the community.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's something everybody should have. Everybody really has the right to that. What was it originally for people with cerebral palsy, and then it's branched out to people with other disabilities as well, or has the Employment Solutions always been for anybody?
Employment Solutions has always been for anybody experiencing any disability. United Cerebral Palsy was formed back in the 50s in order to provide a support network for parents with children of cerebral palsy. Since then, it's just branched out to support everybody.
Good, good. So how big of an organization is Employment Solutions? Well, let me put it this way. How many people do you have out in the community that you've actually placed at any one time? Is it like a handful of people?
Since 2007, when we started, we have placed about, I would say about 150 individuals.
Oh, that's pretty significant. That's pretty significant. Okay, so when you talk about somebody with a disability, give me an example of some of the kinds of disabilities we'd be talking about.
Well, I'd be happy to share with you of some of the pictures that we have.
Well, why don't we take a look at them now, and then maybe you can, because you have some pictures of different folks that work for you.
Yeah.
And I'll bring them up on the screen. You can tell us what we're taking a look at here.
Yeah, I think disabilities are, we focus more on abilities.
Which makes sense, yes, it makes sense.
Yeah, but on the screen is Dan at Sugar Wheel Works, and Dan worked really well in this environment because he's able to help a small shop. Jude, who owns the shop, she makes custom bicycle wheels. And what Dan does to help Jude focus on her precision work is counting out each spoke for each wheel. And then we have Derek right in the community at All About Automotive.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah, right here in Gresham.
He experiences a visual disability, and that sounds kind of dangerous in an auto garage, but there are so many controls in a garage already, such as brightly colored tape and padding around hard surfaces. So Derek's really able to navigate around there and provide a service that really benefits the business.
Derek looks happy.
Yeah. And we have people that work at New Seasons, Whole Foods, QFC. Going from working in the eating area to courtesy clerk positions and customer service, floral departments.
Wow.
And just as you said earlier, with employment being a right for everybody, a lot of the people in their jobs improve their lives by being able to live independently, being able to learn more responsibilities. One gentleman at Lowe's that'll come up here, he's now learned how to drive a forklift and got his certification.
That's pretty impressive, yeah, that's great.
And one young woman at QFC, by working there, she was able to meet her eventual husband.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, that's great. Well, yeah, everybody deserves to have a job, but it's going to be more difficult for some people than others. The people that hire the folks that you're representing, do they come to you, or do you go to them? How does that usually work?
A lot of it is outreach to the employers from us. However, a really good job match is based on having a good relationship with each employer to really know what that employer needs and making sure that I have the right job seeker who has the skills and interests to be there for a long time. Right. So we have a lot of relationships, and so we get a lot of word of mouth referrals as well, that one employer is happy, so they tell their colleagues about the success we're having, and so that's really where we benefit and find more and more great jobs that
Right.
people stay in and people are satisfied. So right now, our retention rate for people still in their jobs is 93%.
Oh wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive. I don't know what it is for anybody else, but that's pretty darn high. So do you work with the employers to figure out ways to deal with whatever kind of a disability they have? If it's a sight, a vision problem or something like that, do you make suggestions or ways that they can better accommodate that worker?
Yeah, when we identify the right person for the right job, that's when we talk about that person's learning style, talk about different controls or accommodations in the workplace that'll make that person be successful.
Right. Like you said, for the gentleman in the All About Automotive, that's the bright lights and the padding and the different things that would make it easier for him.
Right, or one person works at Burgerville and makes all the seasonal recipes they have.
Really?
Yeah, and that person, yeah.
I love their seasonal recipes.
Yeah, well,
asparagus,
every time you go, it's the one on 122nd and Stark.
Yeah.
Go support them.
Okay, I like that.
But that gentleman, as part of his disability, he's unable to read, and so I've gone in, and every time he had a new recipe, I'd take pictures of that recipe. He had color-coded measuring cups and his own recipe book that he always knew to access. So by doing that, that's an accommodation that cost about $10.
Oh wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, and now he's able to do that independently.
I can imagine that for somebody who maybe has never had their own, paying job, that is a huge boost to the confidence and independence. I mean, that can make a difference in somebody's life in a huge, huge way. Can you tell me about anybody that you've worked with who's really been affected by that, by getting a job?
Well, like I said, there have been the gentleman at Lowe's who got his forklift certification and then also went a step beyond, and I helped him with his driver's manual, and so he got his permit, and then his foster parent helped him, with learning to drive, and so now he has his driver's license. He's now moving into his own apartment in 2 months.
That's a lot of freedom, yeah.
And I think what was really nice last Christmas is that he was able to purchase gifts for his family with his own money.
That's great, that's great. That's a good deal. And you obviously have some wonderful partners in the community that are the employers. You honor them on a yearly basis, I understand. What exactly are you honoring them for when you do this? You have an award thing coming up. Tell me a little bit about that, Nicholas.
Yeah, it's the Ability Aware Award Night. It's a way for us to bring together employers that we've partnered with over the last 2 years, and also for those employers to bring their colleagues to have them sign on to our mission.
Oh, okay.
And so Ability Aware is as a sign that we have. I brought an image of that as well, and it's a way for employers to show their commitment to their customers, that they're committed to hiring people with disabilities, because there's a statistic that shows that 92% of customers feel more favorable towards companies that hire people with disabilities.
I think that's true. I definitely think that's true. So when somebody goes into this place of business, so there's like a sticker in their window or a placard or something that they have up saying that they are ability aware.
We have all those things.
Yeah. So that's good. So is there a way, if somebody wanted to, especially frequent businesses that hired people with disabilities, is there a way to provide that information? Do you know? I know like the Elders in Action. They have a directory of elder-friendly businesses. Is that available? Do you know for?
That's something we're really in the process of right now.
Oh, really?
Ability Aware just kind of launched as our campaign and our idea to get the word out, and so it's been mostly word of mouth. But this fall we are launching the program in Seattle, Bellevue area with another agency that's similar to the work that we do, and from there we have a Facebook page that's getting started. And
I was going to say, if you don't have a Facebook page, you better get one. Yeah, that's where everybody is. So how can people support you? Obviously, if they own a business and they're looking for an employer, and even if they think they don't have a job that would be suitable for someone with a disability, you have so many different levels and different kinds. I imagine that and with whatever accommodations you can do, I imagine you can place a lot of people in jobs. So would you say if somebody needs to hire somebody, they should contact you and at least get an idea of what it's all about? Would that be the best
Yeah,
start?
I mean, what I say to people is just let's meet and figure out if a partnership makes sense.
Right, right. I
you
mean,
know-
is there sometimes it just doesn't work?
Right. But again, if it's something that you still believe in, you may know somebody who also wants to hear about the
Right,
work that we
right.
do. And for some people who own their own business, we also work with different individuals who want to start their own business, and those people can be really helpful to being on an advisory board.
Well, kind of a mentor sort of relationship. Are you talking about the people that you're placing in jobs wanting to start their own business? Is that
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they
That's
can
great.
provide mentorship, or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
even on the front end, helping
Yeah.
somebody put together a business plan
Right.
and figure out what's going to be
It's a lot of work.
successful.
It's a lot of work for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. So, how are you funded? Are you funded from? Do you have fundraisers? Are you funded from government? How does that work for?
We
employment
mostly
solutions?
operate on government funding. We also have grants from United Way, Meyer Memorial Trust,
Okay.
which is a trust
Yeah,
by Fred
yeah,
Meyer, and the Spirit Mountain Community Fund.
Oh, good. Okay. Do you need volunteers for your organization? Is it an organization that utilizes very many volunteers?
For United Cerebral Palsy as an organization, yeah, we're always looking for volunteers, especially for planning our annual event, the Walk, Roll, and Run.
Oh, yeah.
And within our own department, again, for someone who's a business owner, they may want to help with advising somebody in starting their own business. And then if someone's an HR professional, maybe they want to provide their expertise
Right.
in interviewing help or resume writing. I mean, that's
yeah,
we
yeah.
provide a lot of that too, but having someone with everyday real world experience
That's a
in
good
that,
thing.
it's helpul.
Yeah, have somebody maybe to practice those interviewing skills.
Yeah.
Because that's
And trends are always changing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
they
good
are.
to stay up to date.
Somebody come in and say, "No, that interview up, it's not going to work. We're gonna work on that for you." Yeah, that's good. So, what's your most satisfying part of your job?
The most satisfying part is really seeing someone flourish. I have always felt that work defines us. It's usually the second question you're asked after, "What's your name?"
Yes, it most certainly is.
And I feel that employment is the gateway to full citizenship. And it solves pretty much every problem. If you don't have money for rent, get a job. If
Yeah.
you want to go out for dinner, but you don't have the money, get a job.
Good job.
And it, like I've been kind of having the theme, is once someone has employment, it really opens them up to more opportunities to grow and live a more independent
Yeah.
life and be a part of the community.
Getting a car, maybe go back to school, maybe meet your husband,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Are the positions that you fill, are they both full-time and part-time?
Usually it's part-time.
Okay.
Some people that we work with are looking for as few as 8 hours a week. Some people up to 24 hours a week. There are some people that work full-time. I would say most recently I've worked with Kroger Company to place somebody who experiences autism as a pharmacy technician.
Really? That's great. That's great. Okay, well, I think this sounds like you're doing good things in the community. And if people are interested in going to the Ability Aware Award Night, is this open to the public?
It is open to the public.
If somebody wanted to come by and support them and
Yeah, I mean, I would ask that you use the contact information, my email
let you know
address,
ahead of
and
time so you're
let me know you're
yeah.
coming because
Okay.
we do have a capacity. But I do want to invite anyone who believes in our mission and wants to contribute in any way.
Okay, and this is at 4th Street Brew Pub right here in Gresham.
Yep, 4th
Really
Street Brewing.
Good place, good deal, and that's on the 24th of October. Thanks a lot, Nicholas.
Thank you, Monica.
Yeah, you bet. And thanks for watching this first segment of Community Hotline. Nicholas is out there doing good work, and we have some other people here that want to share what they're doing in the community. So stick around, we'll be right back. Good job.
Community media is priceless.
Valuable.
Community media lets you tell your story to fit your needs.
My favorite thing about community media is it's got to be the people's shows.
I think my favorite one is Karaoke Oli.
Oh, Karaoke Oli's a good one.
We sing live karaoke on TV for an hour.
Hamster versus Monster.
Nap time with kittens.
Community media brings programming like Chambers of Commerce, the Faith Community.
Psycho Chicken.
Do you have any UFO shows?
No, I wish we did.
I would like one of those too.
Yeah.
Children's programs, high school sporting events, and of course the ubiquitous city council meetings.
Only when we hear from folks in their own voices with their own stories can we truly connect.
KZME Radio is a new station that is committed to entertain, inspire, and connect our community through programming that celebrates local music, arts, and culture. It was created to put local music and local arts on local radio, and it is a vehicle for our creative community to gain exposure while also celebrating what the Portland metro area has to offer.
Hi, I'm Ellie Wesley, and I love KZME because it's a great resource to find out about awesome music in our community. They have hip-hop and pop and chamber folk and pretty acoustic music, and they have everything that we have in Northwest. You should support KZME to support these local artists and the awesome music that you can find.
For more information on how to support and get involved with 1071 FM KZME Radio, see our website, www.1071fm.org. KZME Radio, music where you live.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay.
Got it.
No?
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hi there, welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel and we're here at MetroEast Community Media. And now we're going to talk with a couple of ladies who are representing one of the most respected, I guess, organizations in East County. It is Snowcap Community Charities. And with us is Judy Alley, who is the Executive Director, and Linda Kidby, who is the Snowcap Board Secretary. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Snowcap really, truly is one of the most respected organizations in this area. I came from Portland and hadn't heard of Snowcap, but I heard it immediately. Oh, Snowcap's doing this. Oh, Snowcap's doing that. You guys really make a huge impression. Yeah. Well, so tell me about that. Can you give me just a little brief history on Snowcap?
It was incorporated legally in 1967, but I am told that it was in action many, many years before that.
People just doing that on their own and just trying to help out their neighbors
Yes, and the churches organized together because in those days they were a lot smaller congregations and they had bigger impact by cooperating. Sure. And so they got together and did things for people who were injured on the job. And nowadays we have a lot more safety net things. And so that's how it started. Wow. They were doing for each other. And
which is great.
It is. I mean, and they keep right on. And I think it's a testament to East County and the people.
The community
itself. You grew up here. And
yeah.
Did you grow up here, Linda?
I graduated from Centennial and I first got involved actually with Snowcap right around 1967 when I was a little girl going to one of the Lynch schools, and they wanted us to collect food for a food drive, and it was at the old Savage Memorial Church where some of the Snowcap volunteers started out. And so,
did you understand then what that was about? Did anybody? Do you remember? I mean, obviously it was when you were a little kid, but do you remember what that was?
you know,
like?
my parents made an impression on us about people that don't have, and I didn't know that we were poor. You know, my family, we didn't talk about that. And so I didn't know that we had a hard time making ends meet, but it was kind of in our family that we give to other people. And we share what we have, and we help out in the community as best as we're able. It's kind of instilled.
That's one of the best things you can do is teach your kids to do that. That's one of my pet passions, is that, you know, bring your kids up to see, you know, model that behavior of service to others, and let them understand how important that is, so we can keep it going.
Don't just tell them about it, but volunteer together. That's what I like to see during the holidays, families volunteering together, because you're not just telling your children, well, we share, and that's our value system, but
actually modeling it,
you're doing it.
Yes. Bringing in the kids and letting the kids participate and let the kids be involved. Then they have a real sense of contributing. I think the whole community, you know, it really does take a whole community to nurture and help and provide for everyone, because we're all having a need of some sort. It really helps me to volunteer. I feel better when I volunteer.
You do, don't you? That's the other part of volunteering, is you always get more out of it than you ever put into it. I mean,
I was reading in the AARP newspaper that people who volunteer live longer. It's not just feeling better, they are healthier. It is good to get out and mix with others and work together as part of a team.
I agree. So, yeah, that's absolutely true. I know I was volunteering on a youth football program this summer, and instead of the kids paying, they were asked to donate food to this food bank. And a couple of the kids said to me, they were like 10 years old, why are we bringing this canned food? What is this for? And I said, because there's a lot of kids in this community that don't have enough food. I said, you know, there's probably kids you go to school with who come to school without any breakfast. And he said, no, not around here. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, and truly.
But they don't, they're sheltered in their family circle, which they should be, of course. But
and they don't need to solve those problems at age 10, but to understand that
a little window into the lives of others is a good thing.
And it makes a difference. So when somebody comes to volunteer at Snowcap, what kinds of things do you have for them to do?
You know, there's just no limit to it. But the real basic things are, we need people to drive trucks, both to pick up and deliver things. We need people to interview clients, to personal shoppers, to help in the pantry. That's just the routine operation. We need garden mentors, master gardeners.
You have a great garden there now,
We do. We've got 42 families.
Would you call it a community garden? Or
well,
is it for the Snowcap, the people that
it's for low-income people that live in that area.
Okay.
And so we call it our community garden, but it isn't really for Lake Oswego or Persimmon, you know, it's that.
Yes.
It's focused
for this area.
Right.
Yeah, and I've seen some video of it. It was a pretty impressive garden.
Well, I think it is, and it's expanded this year. And just this last weekend, we had another young man get his Eagle Scout badge by building another bed. It's going to be for a handicapped gardener. The garden is gravel, and it's hard on her wheelchair to get around. So we're paving around this one set-aside raised bed. So
that's wonderful.
So it's growing, and we're also growing a little to the east of our building, where we're really trying to reclaim an area that has been neglected, and
is that little park-like area?
Yes,
that's sort of a little wilderness area.
Yeah, it has a lot of really nice big trees, and unfortunately, it's just there's no real programming there, and it's just kind of beaten down dirt. And
so it's not owned by Snowcap?
No, it's owned by the church, Rockwood United Methodist Church. But with their usual generosity, they're leasing it to us for $1 a year. So
can't beat that one.
No, you can't. Once somebody said, "Oh, I've got quite a deal. I've got an empty space that we could lease to you for a real bargain over on Halsey." And I said, "Is it more than $1?" Of course, it's more than $1. I said, "Well, it's not a real deal for us then."
That's so funny. Yeah, that's great. You probably have a lot of good community partners.
Oh yes, Home Forward is actually organizing. There's there's a lot of trenches that have to be dug for the underground sprinklers, the lighting. We're putting the wires in now for the cameras that will be mounted later in the light
Try
poles.
to prevent any problems
Exactly.
that might happen. So is it not, does it not have any of that right now? It's just pretty much
none of that.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so how do you plan on using it then?
We want to make it a wholesome place for the community to recreate, picnics, and I'm hoping to talk to the library once it's done and they can see the possibilities. Now I don't think they'd want to do reading in the summer there. It's just really not that nice.
But it can become
But
that.
it's going to be beautiful because we're going to put in a lot of plant material. We have a big hill, grassy knoll for the children to roll on, but we're going to have to fence off. We're doing the grass by seed, and so it'll take a little while to get established. But
that'd be great though.
So,
But
it's
maybe
exciting.
some community groups, maybe if a little scout group wanted to do a little nature thing to get this particular badge or something, maybe they could.
That would
I
be
mean,
a
something
good
like
place
that.
for that. Yes,
Yeah.
it would. Yeah, Volks walkers. We're scheduling a Volks walk there in April.
You have one of those
So-
geocache things. You know about those things?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that would
I've
be
never
a
done
really.
that, but
I haven't either, but we could do that. Yeah.
Something in the little park there.
Hidden
that's their
in the
destination.
boulders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. Yeah, I think those are kind of fascinating. So you, besides the park, you've expanded or are expanding your building as well.
We have to expand our warehouse, and we're in the process and almost winding that down. We have, since the recession, we doubled the number of people that were coming.
Wow.
We used to think we were busy when 4,000 people were fed each month. We thought,
I
haven't
say
we
that's
done
busy.
a lot? But that's nothing, because now it's 8,000.
Wow.
And it is just a lot of wear and tear on the building, and in order to really receive all the free food that is available that can be donated to us, we didn't have the space. We had to refuse food.
Oh, and that's a shame.
It is terrible.
Hopefully, it
When
went to another organization who could really
well,
use
I'm
it.
sure.
But still,
yes, but
yeah,
I
that's
still
a
think
shame.
that our people here should have that,
yeah.
especially when we've got them lined up at the front door to turn away trucks at the back door.
Yeah, that's a
doesn't
shame. Yeah,
make sense.
Linda, have you seen a lot of change in the Rockwood area and the East County area as far as the number of homeless and people who need assistance? Because you say you grew up in this area.
I used to ride my bike right around in that area. We lived on 183rd right between Gleason and Burnside. And so I'm really familiar with that area, and it's gone through a lot of changes. You know, our whole community, people that live in the community, the things that go on in the community are certainly different than what went on when I was a youngster out riding my bike.
Right.
My mother probably wouldn't have let me out of the backyard.
Probably not, yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, it is just the times that we're living in, and I think we need to be responsive to that. And I think that there are a lot of people in need in the community, and I so appreciate the volunteers, the organizations, the partners, the business partners. I think just everybody matters, you know, from the client.
You can't do it alone.
No.
It takes lots.
It does. Yeah, the partnerships, and I think I've noticed that in the recession that there's so many more partnerships between different nonprofit organizations and businesses and nonprofits because they know, you know, we're stronger together.
Right,
You know,
we need each other.
Yeah. So we kind of partner here, you know, because we're
Yes.
yeah.
No, you guys do a lot to spread the word about all
and
kinds of
we're really
things.
trying to, you know, help with the Rockwood thing because people are trying to reclaim Rockwood. You know, they
Yes.
want it to be back the way it was when you were growing up. You know, when it was a great place to live, and there's a lot of good stuff going on there. But you know, you need to keep at it. And the immigrant population has grown so incredibly. And,
I think that may be one of the saving graces.
Oh, I
for
think so
Rockwood.
too.
It's
I think it'll
become very diverse, but also very exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of liveliness and creativity and
potential. And it's not just one group. It's all sorts of people from all over the world. And it's pretty. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of things that need to be celebrated. But yeah, sometimes it takes people a while to get on their feet. So what else do we need to know before we run out of time about Snowcap? What do you have coming up in the future here?
Well, if there are people that would like to plant this park-like area, we are going to have a work party on October 19th as a Saturday, and if they call Snowcap, they can just go to our website and it has contact us.
Oh, good. So, and
section.
you'd like to know who's going to be there so you can prepare
Yes,
for them?
because we value our volunteers' time, and we don't want people to come if they're like if we
there's
got
nothing to
too
do.
many
Yeah,
people and there's nothing to do, then they'd feel disappointed.
It'd be a
and-
great problem to have, but if you had
Yeah.
too many that sign up, but do call first.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it'll be everybody will be happier.
That'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, keep up the good work, both of you. I know that keeps you very, very busy, but like I said,
Keeps us
snowcap
out of
is,
trouble.
yeah. And I know what kind of trouble you get into, Judy. So, but yeah, snowcap is doing great things in this community, and like I said, is very well respected, and I hope you're here for years and years to come. So, thank you very much.
Thanks.
And please don't go away. We have one more guest that we're going to be talking with tonight, and I know you're going to want to hear about it. So, stick with Community Hotline. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Community television is what participatory democracy is about.
Like my friend Laird Ross says, it's the last great American soapbox.
It gives me a voice.
And I'm glad it's available.
It's incredibly important to protect a place where all users of locally based nonprofit media have a place to speak and share their stories.
KZME Radio is a new station that is committed to entertain, inspire, and connect our community through programming that celebrates local music, arts, and culture. It was created to put local music and local arts on local radio, and it is a vehicle for our creative community to gain exposure while also celebrating what the Portland metro area has to offer.
Hey folks, I'm Mike Midlow from the band Pancake Breakfast. What's so cool about KZME? Well, it's local music. You know, you can't go to every live show. Believe me, I've tried. So you could tune into KZME and hear a bunch of music that you might not get to see otherwise. Why should you support KZME? Well, it's pretty obvious. I mean, if you like Portland Town, USA, homegrown music, independent radio, and if you believe in the powers of rock and roll, then contribute to KZME. It's music where you live.
For more information on how to support and get involved with 1071 FM KZME Radio, see our website, www.1071fm.org. KZME Radio, music where you live.
Get caught buzzed driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom. It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke.
Hello there. Welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel, and I'm glad you stayed with us because we have the last segment tonight, and we're going to be talking with the Rockwood Neighborhood Association. In the last segment, we talked a little bit about Rockwood and Snowcap and some of the changes that are going on there. To find out a little more about that and what's going on in that neighborhood, I have John Bildso, who is the Land Use Chair for the Rockwood Neighborhood Association. Thanks for being here, John.
Thank you, Monica.
So, first of all, the Rockwood Neighborhood Association, how long, is that an old, long-standing neighborhood association, or is that fairly recent?
I think it's fairly recent. I haven't been involved with it for that long myself, but I do know that neighborhoods in Gresham have been around for maybe 10 or 15 years in their present boundaries.
Boundaries, boundaries, okay.
There's about 15 or 16 of them.
Right, right. A lot of them are really active, I know. Not all of them, but I've been familiar with several of them that are quite active. The Rockwood Neighborhood Association, is it an active membership, or is it one that you're just trying to grow?
Well, it's actually one of the more active ones because there's so much dynamic going on in Rockwood. The neighborhood itself has defined boundaries, but it's really Rockwood is part of a much older area. I think it's probably based on what was known as Rockwood Road, and that's 181st or 182nd. It's kind of like a farm road. Yes,
I didn't
that's
know
right.
that.
So everything maybe from Division all the way down to Sandy was at one time Rockwood.
Yeah, and it was farmland out there. I remember that.
Absolutely. I think there were like old racetracks, and at one time there was even an airport or something I heard.
Wow.
But dairy farms and things like that.
Yeah. But it's changed a lot.
It's changed a lot, and now the boundaries are more, I think on the north you'd be seeing Gleason Street, and on the south maybe about Main Street. On the west it's probably down to the city boundary line to Portland, and it goes all the way out to 202nd Birdsdale on the east side.
Right. So in a neighborhood association, what kinds of things do you do? Obviously you have monthly meetings?
Yep, we have, well, if it were a perfect world, we'd have monthly meetings. If everybody had time, we'd have monthly meetings. But we, in the neighborhood association that are on the committees and the executives there, we just don't have time to host a monthly meeting. We try to have a meeting 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
And we will like to advertise through public media when those meetings are. I think November 18th is the next meeting that we're having. That'll be a general meeting.
And anybody is welcome to attend those meetings?
Anybody's welcome to attend the meetings, right. If you are living within the neighborhood boundaries, then the City of Gresham will send a postcard that outlines what the meeting agenda is to every household in the neighborhood. And it's not just Rockwood, it's
that's
every
pretty
neighborhood.
Impressive, actually.
It is, because I believe, and it's always changing, but I think there's over 15,000 people in Rockwood. That's a lot of people. It's the largest neighborhood, numbers-wise, and that means there's probably 6,000 or 7,000 households that'll be getting a postcard like that.
Wow. That is impressive. That's great support from the city. Right?
It is good support. I think the citizens in Gresham, and it's not just Gresham, a lot of the Pacific Northwest and the United States, for that matter, they want to see cooperative, meaningful relationships between the government entities and the neighbors that live, it's citizens.
Yeah, it only makes sense. So if I were to go to a Rockwood Neighborhood Association meeting, what would go on there?
Well, we'd start out by reviewing the minutes from the last meeting, which we do very quickly because we send out by email.
So most everybody's seen them already.
Yes, they've seen them already, and they also, of course, we have a copy of the minutes that is available, and people come a little bit early and they can look it over. So they know what's going on and what to expect. And there's an agenda that shows what's going to happen at that meeting that's mailed out ahead of time too. And you probably would see things like the police chief might come and give a presentation on what the overall statistics in the city would be, and then how that relates to the individual neighborhood, or in this case, Rockwood.
Okay, like what kind of crime is most prevalent here, or
absolutely.
what crime has decreased, or what they're doing about it, maybe what kind of different styles of policing they might be using, and that kind of thing.
Exactly. And right now, there's a new public safety facility just being built in Rockwood. It's at 181st and Gleason, just not right on the corner, but very close by there. You probably see it if you drive by. So
there's actually quite a bit of new construction in Rockwood, or new groups moving in. I mean, you have is it a courthouse that's in there, a brand new courthouse?
Right, that's an interesting story in and of itself. I think Multnomah County recognizes that there's a huge demographic east of 205th, or the I-205.
Right.
And they realize that people that live out here need the services out here.
Yeah, going into Portland.
Oh
is-
boy, if you've
yeah,
ever
that's
been
a-
called up
yeah.
for jury duty,
Yeah,
you know
that's a
what
real
that's all
pain,
about.
yeah, yeah.
And so this is evolving, but the new courthouse did go in last year, I believe, and it has some growing to do still, but it's just a great idea to have some of the simpler trials, traffic court, domestic things held here in Gresham, so that you don't have to go all the way to Portland, because it is a real commute.
Yeah, it makes it much easier. I know I had a friend that lived out here and needed to do just some paperwork with the court system. He was told, oh, well, you live on that side of 122nd, you can go to that one. And it's like, oh, right. Yeah, it's much more convenient. And there's other good businesses that are going, like the Human Solutions building. Is that considered in the Rockwood area?
That's, the Rockwood Triangle, which is kind of where Burnside and Stark Street cross, and then 181st Avenue, that is the geographical core of Rockwood, and they're just north of that intersection on 181st. And that was a huge empty plot of land. I think a bus company, maybe TriMet, paved it or graveled it over to put their buses on it, and it was a carnival lot or something way back in the day. But it sat empty for so long, and Human Solutions, I don't know, you probably interviewed them.
I do know Human Solutions, and I went to the grand opening of that building, which
great.
was an impressive
Yeah,
building.
it's quite something.
Yeah.
I did a little work with them when they were putting in the art. I was on an arts committee with
really?
them.
Oh,
so I had lots of opportunities to go and see it as it was developing and being built. But that's a really good example of people getting together, getting good ideas together, and making a really nice building where there was nothing. And it's dramatically changed the landscape there.
Oh, yes. Well, not only is there Human Solutions, but I think Loaves and Fishes.
Loaves and Fishes has the first floor.
There's a daycare. Is it a, what do you call those? I can't think of what you call it.
Yeah, well, it's not just the daycare. There's also Wallace has a medical facility.
Wallace Medical Concern, yes.
And there's several other social service agencies that are in that building.
And low-income housing.
Right, on the second and third floor.
And really nice housing.
It's very nice housing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you think 181st is not a quiet street. It's a very busy
Right. And you're right on the Max line, so it's convenient. It's a very
convenient to the Max line. It's very near Albertson, so that shopping is not a problem. But if you are living there, you'd think, oh, all that noise would be disturbing, but they designed it so you shut those sliders that go out to the patio, and it's silent.
Really? Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice addition to that community.
And then Multnomah County's also put in a health center further down on 182nd. 181st kind of takes a jog and becomes 182nd.
I haven't seen that, but I heard something about that.
Yeah,
so.
That's closer to Division. I think it's actually in Centennial neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Not really Rockwood, but it serves the whole area there, so it's very good.
Your neighbors anyway.
We're pals.
Right. Everything kind of floats from one to the other anyway. So, see, do you live in that neighborhood?
No, actually I don't. I grew up in Portland, and I went overseas, and I lived overseas for about 20 years, and I had some opportunities to do some real estate investing in Oregon. And when I came back, I found a really nice piece of property in Rockwood, and in order to take advantage of that, I also bought a house in Gresham. So I live in Gresham, really close to Rockwood. And I operate my business in Rockwood. I've got some multifamily housing there.
Oh, okay. So then you get to deal with a lot of the issues that have been coming up, because people are moving out to Rockwood because, as certain parts of Portland have become gentrified, a lot of people have been moving out here, and it's caused a lot of problems. I recently read about that Barberry Village thing that was going on. That was in the paper about how, there were some really undesirable elements, I suppose you could say, in some of the housing complexes. But they're trying to make changes there, and with the increased immigrant population, they need places to live, and not everybody knows how to help them. So it's a big issue trying to deal with that. But you are the land use chair, so what exactly does that mean, John?
Well, land use is one of the big things for neighborhood associations. If you think about it, anybody who has land in a neighborhood anywhere, maybe it's just a house and they live there forever and that's it. They know their neighbors, and that's great.
Yeah.
But if they buy someplace and they want to make something different, it affects their neighbors, and
if
it
they want
affects
to open
the
a business in a
whole
previously residential area, or the type of business.
Right, and it can even be the same exact thing that's going in on that piece of land, or it might be a vacant piece of land with nothing on it. It has houses next to it, and all of a sudden there's like a 5-story house or a huge apartment building or a methadone clinic going up there.
Right,
so
right.
The land use operation in a neighborhood association, its function is to be sort of the clearinghouse between whoever lives there and the developer and the city. So a developer will go to the city and say, I want to build an apartment building here, or I need to build a store here, or a mini mart or something, or just put up a house.
Right.
If the use may have some incompatibility issues, or it triggers certain things, the neighborhood associations will have an opportunity to meet with the developer. And in order for the developer's plans to be approved by the city, they first have to present an application to the city that is given to the neighborhood association. And then the neighborhood association and the developer will set up a time and a date to let all of the people that live within 300 feet, or anybody who's interested in that kind of development, get together and hear what the development option is.
It's almost like mediation, kind of, or, but I mean, it's not you're not working it out, but you're supplying a place where people can come together and work it out.
I'd say when things get busy development-wise and the economy picks up, if it's a strong economy, there's a lot of development, and the vast majority of these developments are very, very positive. That's great.
Yeah.
The problem is when people have not enough money to make the kind of development that should go in, or their idea is a little bit odd, they can try to make it look very nice, and you may think it's great. The city may think, okay, it's meeting all the code requirements, but once it's in there could be some big problems. And there have been some cases like that in the past. We had one case where a car wash went in, and it's operated by a company that's been doing the car wash business for years and years and years.
That doesn't sound so bad.
No, it doesn't. But the area where they put the car wash was commercially zoned. However, when they submitted the plan, this was many years ago when they did this, and I think things were still being sorted out. Right. They put in the car wash in such a way that it faced a residential area right next door.
So the traffic, was that the problem? Or?
Well, if you can think of what a modern car wash is, you drive your car in, and then it sort of sits on a conveyor belt and gets pushed through, and things get washed and then blown dry and shoots you out the other end. The problem here was it was spitting cars out the other end and blowing them off, and all of that noise from the car wash and the blowers, it was like being at the back end of a 747.
I was going to say, like being right next to an airport.
Right.
Yeah, that would be really
so
be awful.
I think that was set up at a time before neighborhood associations and the early neighborhood notification meeting, which is the process that this is called, were properly set up. In today's world, the developer with that kind of a proposal would come up, present this to the city would say, oh, it sounds good to us, it meets all the code requirements, why don't you meet with the neighbors? The neighborhood association will help you facilitate that. And the developer will contact us, we will arrange a time and a place, usually in a public place, some kind of a restaurant or a community venue, meet there and invite everybody that's living close by. And people that live close by, sometimes they have no idea what's going on. They just don't have a clue, or they don't want to get involved, or they just think, oh, this is nothing, it won't affect me.
It won't affect me.
Until it's too late.
Yeah, right.
But this gives them the opportunity to come, and it's a friendly, non-confrontative sort of environment. Nobody's going to blow up and start screaming or anything like that.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing, and I think the people in the city, the people in the neighborhood association, are there to help keep things kind of calm down. In some cases, the neighbors won't even attend these things because they just think this doesn't really affect me. I don't know what it is. I don't even know where it is. Then the neighborhood association takes the responsibility to take things like, and I'll give you an example if you want to see. We get a document like this sent to the neighborhood association. In some cases, it's just one page, and it just says a small description of what is going to happen on this property. Sometimes they include a drawing, and it can be. Oh yeah. I don't know if you.
Just hold it still there for a minute. I'll take a look at that. So that's a little hard to see. I mean, but
this one is very, very hard to see. I think this is an architectural rendering that was done very quickly. So if you wanted to know what was being built on the property next to you, you may not see any of this at all. You may get a letter in the mail saying that, hi, I'm Bob Smith and I'm going to be developing an apartment building 2 doors down from your house on 123 XYZ Street. And they would include a picture of what they had in mind and a little map of where it is. You might not see any of this, but you could go to the city and look it up and you see something like this. You still wouldn't understand it. Or you might see something like this. This is another thing that the neighborhood association can get. A developer for another kind of apartment would send us a book.
With all the
like this,
information.
with some really nice drawings, and it answers all of the questions, much more than you want
Very
to know.
detailed, very detailed.
Yeah, and it goes on and on.
Everything you never wanted to know.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and explain all this, but these are several sets of architectural drawings.
Wow.
That the land use chair, that's me, would be getting for going
pour
over.
through all that?
Yes, and I'd say this is a moderate sized
really?
plan
Okay.
for maybe a small apartment building or a store. If we get a bigger thing going on, like the TriMet Ruby Junction Service Center, that's serving all of the new MAX trains, that's an enormous thing. I actually had to buy a new file cabinet for
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Now, besides your show and tell items here, you brought some pictures too, did you?
Right, because
Yeah.
we don't just do the land use, and although I think this is a really important thing, because if you think it's hard to just quickly look at that, taking a long time to look at that can be really tough. So even if you don't show up to one of the meetings, we can help look through the stuff, and if it's important, go over it for you.
Okay, good. I mentioned that you brought some pictures, and these are some pictures, I believe, of something going on in the Rockwood neighborhood.
Yes.
Can you tell me what this is?
Okay, this is the National Night Out, and we do this in Vance Park. National Night Out is actually organized or thought up by the police departments of cities around the country, and it's a national Night Out event. Normally, small neighborhoods, just 2 or 3 houses around a block do it. That's, I don't know what that is.
That's okay.
Okay.
Probably somebody at the event.
Yeah.
But,
the neighborhood association decided a few years ago, why don't we piggyback this with some of the really nice things that we have in Rockwood? So we chose one of our parks, and we do this every year now. We have the National Night Out in Vance Park, which is it's about Yam Hill and 182nd.
okay. That looks like you had a great night for it. It was, and I know they have representatives from all different organizations.
Right. In our case, the police will come there, of course. The fire department will come there. They'll bring all of their special cars and trucks. And then in this picture here, they have their canine, so you can get to talk to a police dog. And it's really, they have some cute police dogs. And they're really well trained, so they're fun to play with. And these officers are very kind to explain what's going on. We also, we've opened this as kind of a venue for all of the social service organizations that are in the area to come to this neighborhood association event and help establish a dialogue in the neighborhood and talk to the people that come. And we have maybe hot dogs and pop. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it's like 25 cents, free cake, free watermelon. It's pretty nominal.
Yeah.
A lot of giveaways. We have raffle tickets that we give out. So
Local
it's a fun thing.
businesses provide some raffle
A
items.
lot of
that kind
local
thing.
businesses are involved in this because they really want to see things happen in the neighborhood. This is really
of course.
positive.
Yeah, the National Night Out, it's a great place for people in the community to come and just have their questions answered by, the police or the fire department or there's usually other city officials there, aren't there? Usually, whoever you can get to be free that night.
Well, I think the city makes a strong commitment to go visit all of the National Night Outs because we started doing this, I think, in 2009 or 10, and very soon after, this became such a good idea that almost all the other neighborhoods are trying to do this as well. So the city officials are jumping around from all of these associations.
Yeah, they keep plenty busy doing that, I'm sure.
They do.
We're almost out of time, John. Tell me real quickly, there's an artist reception that I read about called Pearl for the Pearl, and somehow this benefits your association.
Right.
Tell me about that.
I think Rockwood has a lot of nice things going for it. It has some beautiful parks, some open space, some great people. It's a great place for new families to come. But there are a lot of challenges too. And one of the things that I noticed, there really aren't a lot of activities that families can participate in. I heard about this group called, well, it's actually the Pearl Gallery on 10th and Davis is doing part of it. It's the Zimmerman Community Center. This is down in the Pearl District. They are working with local galleries like the Pearl Gallery and local artists or some very famous artists to have shows, art shows, and the proceeds from these shows, 25% of them for the entire month or even beyond a month, are going to the Zimmerman group. And that group is supporting art programs for disadvantaged
And
children
the
and
Zimmerman
seniors.
place, is that in Rockwood?
No, that's actually in
that's
the downtown.
That's downtown. Okay, okay.
We don't actually have something like that in the Rockwood area. And I think this is something that we really need to go and look at how these things are done and bring them out to the Rockwood area. Because,
Good.
you know, there's a lot of kids here and they're just kind of sitting at home not knowing really what to
We
do.
need to get them doing something good and positive.
Yep.
Well, we are out of time, John. Thank you so much. I learned a lot about the neighborhood association. You do a whole lot of stuff there. So it's
a lot.
pretty impressive, but you've got your work cut out for you. So I would encourage anybody who is interested in being part of a neighborhood association, if you live in Rockwood, go check it out. And the next meeting is going to be November 18th, 7 p.m. at the Human Solutions Building.
Exactly.
Yes, right, 181st and
And Cooch, between Cooch and Division.
Okay, good. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for staying with us tonight and watching Community Hotline. We hope you'll join us next week. I'm Monica Weitzel. We'll see you then.